Alright, so good morning, grade 9. As I promised, nagagawa na lang ako ng video lesson for you guys since we are running out of time and your long test 1 is on Wednesday. So, hindi natin to na topic. So, ayan, I decided na gagawa na lang ako ng video lesson for you. So, the last topic that is covered for long test 1 is all about the mechanisms for evolutionary change. That's under LG 2.5. Okay? So here's the following learning competencies that we need to cover or we need to achieve at the end of this lesson. First, you have to describe how populations have changed and continue to change over time, showing patterns of descent with modification from common ancestors to produce the organismal diversity observed today. And for number 2, describe mechanisms that produce change in populations from generation to generation. It can be artificial and natural selection, genetic drift, mutation, and recombination. And the last is that differentiate the 3 mechanisms for evolutionary change. So in the previous lesson, you already learned the different sources of genetic variation, correct? Which, we make possible for evolution to occur. So, in this lesson, you're going to learn the 3 mechanisms of evolutionary change and how each mechanism differs from one another. I hope you are well informed right now or from our last topics about the different sources of genetic variation. Okay, so as well as we already explored as well what is evolution. Diba? We defined it as a change in the genetic frequencies or the heritable traits of the organism or a population from one generation or from them parents to the next generation or their offspring. So there are 3 ways or mechanisms of altering the genetic frequency of a population, meaning merong malaking chance na pagbabago or mga variances or genetic drifting or genetic mutations will occur from one generation to the next. So we're going to explore what are those 3 mechanisms that drives evolution. Okay? So here's the 3 mechanisms for evolutionary change. Number 1 is the genetic drift, number 2 is gene flow, and number 3 is natural selection. From these 3 mechanisms, variations or changes from the genetic composition or genetic material or even the genes or the hereditary factor from one generation to the next caused evolution. Okay? Alright, so from this figure, as you can see, there are bottles and dots, red and blue dots. Okay, so each bottle represents one generation of a population of the bacteria. Say, yung mga dots na yan, yung red and blue, those are bacteria. And each bottle is the generation. Say, for example, yung first bottle dito is the parents, and then the next are the next generations, their offsprings. Okay, these dots, as you can see, we have 2, 3, and more dots. It represent the number of times each bacteria will reproduce, and these are randomly determined. Okay? Paano nga ba nangyayari yung genetic drift? As we can see here, genetic drift happens in a small population. So there are chance or events such as random reproduction. Say, ang bacteria na niyan, hindi na sila nag-receive ng too much or enough nutrients or resources. So because of this, it can alter the genetic frequencies of a population per generation. If we're going to define genetic drift, this is the process by which allele frequencies or the genes fluctuate unpredictably from one generation to the next in a small population, depending on the available resources, depending on the environment as well, depending on their geographic location o kung saan sila. Ayan. So, from these sources of or from these factors, this can drive for the alterations of genetic frequencies from their parents to the next generation. So, as you can see, meron tayong 5 bottles here, and after 5 generations, the genetic composition of the population of bacteriums has changed, diba? Kung makikita natin sa first bottle, same lang yung number ng red and blue dots. And the next bottle or the next generation, yung offspring niya, medyo nabawasan yung number ng mga red dots. And then, so on and so forth, from third to fourth, hanggang pang-limang battle natin na wala na talaga yung red, as well as the dots. Wala ng number of reproductions dito kasi nawala na yung kanilang species. So as you can see, the genetic composition of the population has changed, nagbago, and all bacteria are now blue species. Okay? So that's genetic drift, the process by which allele frequencies nagfa-fluctuate unpredictably depending on the available resources or depending on the nutrients they received from their parents or their offsprings, or pwede din natin yung as you can see dito sa mga bottles na yan, this can give us the idea na from one generation to the next, hindi talaga, may mga changes na pwedeng mangyari. Okay? May mga alterations sa kanilang mga genes. There are many factors that can cause mutations as well. Okay? May result in genetic drift. Okay? Kung makikita natin yung mga circumstances na yon, we're going to explore two types. Okay? The founder effect and the bottleneck effect. So to understand more how genetic drift happens, let us understand this example. Okay? Meron tayo ditong figure. Okay? Suppose there are 9 beetles in a population. Tignan nyo ha. So may dalawang species ng beetles yan, green and brown. Out of 9, 3 are green beetles and the remaining 6 are brown beetles. At random, a person passed nearby beetles and by mistake, he steps on those beetles population. So due to this casualty, 2 green beetles died kasi nga naapakan sila, diba, by mistake ng dumaang tao. Okay? So now, the remaining population of these beetles consists of only 1 green and 6 brown beetles. So overall, this casualty is not pre-planned, diba? Hindi talaga yun na plano kasi by mistakes lang yun. It happened randomly. It occurred by chance. Okay, tandaan natin, it occurred by chance. The effects are also seen here because of the presence of a small population. If there is a large population, it may be difficult to examine the effect of such casualty. If there are 100 beetles, for example, and 4 lang yung namatay o napatay, then obviously it will not affect the population. As the initial population is small, kaya siyam lang ang meron dito, so the killing of 2 beetles not going to affect or now going to affect the overall population. That is why we used to call it that the genetic drift is seen in a small population. Okay? I hope that's clear to everybody. Okay, so let's explore these 2 types of genetic drift, which is first, the founder effect. Paano nga ba siya nangyayari? This happens when few individuals are separated from a large population. Tingnan natin dito sa figure, meron tayong red dots and then purple dots. Okay, that's their parent population. These individuals may be separated at random, as in the case from this, for example, halimbawa mga birds iyan, o kaya naman mga fish, any species or organisms. So, if they are blown away, halimbawa may mga natural disasters or circumstances in kanilang environment o kaya nag-deplete yung kanilang mga nutrients or yung kanilang resources, so kailangan nilang maghanap ng pagkain. Ayan, say for example, typhoon, ayan, towards an island, nahiwala yung isang population or yung small population na yun from their parent population, thereby separating them from the original population. Okay? This phenomenon happens or also happens when a group from a large population migrates. Ayan, and populates. Ibig sabihin, nag-reproduce sila at a distant area where they will establish a new genetic pool. Kung sino yung mga na-separate from their parent population, hanggang nag-migrate nga sila dahil kailangan nila maghanap ng pagkain o dahil may mga catastrophic events, from those population, doon sa bagong area nila, they will eventually reproduce. And a new couple of generations after or from in times magpuproduce sila ng sarili ng population doon. Founder population, after a few generations, kaya nga nawala halimbawa yung mga isang species kasi mas konti yung kanilang mga yung representative species nila na napunta sa ganong area or population or ganong geographic location. So, tandaan natin, when we say founder effect, nangyayari ito when few individuals are separated from their parents or from the large population. On the other hand, ano naman yung bottleneck effect? Okay? So, paano naman siya nangyayari? Ganito yon. Okay? Bottleneck effect happens when an environmental event drastically decreases the number of individuals in a population dahil sa mga environmental events such as, yun nga, typhoons, or halimbawa may pumutok na bulkan, or nagbaha. Ayan. This event referred to as a bottleneck event. Okay? Kung makita natin dito sa ating example, mayroong parent population na mayroong blue and yellow individuals. Say, mga bacteria yung mga yan. Okay? So, or yung mga marbles na yan, bawa ay mga bacteria. From this parent population, because of such event, na-decrease yung number ng population to the next generation or sa kanilang mga offspring. Na-reduced yung kanilang population. Okay? Na-reduced yung size. From larger, naging mas maliit yung kanilang size. Halimbawa, dahil namatay na yung iba, hindi nakasurvive dun sa drastic events na yun, or environmental catastrophes. As you can see, some genes might be overrepresented while some genes might be absent. In this case, dito sa ating example, mas kumonti ang mga yellow bacteria natin kasi konti lang yung nakasurvive from the drastic event or from the environmental events or catastrophes. So nakikita natin, so the next generation, pag nag-survive yung mga individuals na yon from the drastic reduction ng sa population nila, sa from parents population nila, yung mga surviving individuals will then reproduce. As you can see, magkaiba na yung kanilang yung next generation, yung number ng offspring nila and ng species nila ay very different from their parents' population or number ng species kasi due to environmental event. Yan, I have here another example. Halimbawa, in an island, meron tayong mga blue and white skinned cow. I think this is cow. Oo, mga baka sila. So, meron dyang volcano sa gitna ng island na yan. Yung parent generation nila ay almost same yung number ng blue and white cow. Tama? Kung bibilangin natin, yeah, correct. Ayan. So, yung represented yan ng big letter B, big sabihin blue yan. Pag small letter B is white. White yung kanilang species, white cow. Dahil sa isang drastic event, say, nag-erupt yung volcano, so, yung mga malapit na mga species or organisms around the area doon sa volcano mismo will eventually die. Diba? They will not survive. So, ang mangyayari, because of this event, the next generation, mag-iiba yung number ng species nila. So, as you can see here, dalawa na lang yung blue at mas marami na yung puti or yung mga white na cow na natira, nakasurvive. Maybe because, syempre, itong mga white na cow ay nakatira mas malayo sa volcano at yung blue ay mas kumonte. Because of this event, syempre mag-reproduce yan sila. Ano kayang species yung mas dadami? Okay? Syempre, as you can see, mas dumadami yung white kasi kumonte yung population ng blue. Okay? I hope nagagets nyo yan. Ito yung isang solid example of genetic drifting. So next is gene flow. So gene flow happens when migrating individuals breed in their new location. Okay? Remember, this is the change in the genetic frequency due to the movement of fertile individuals, meaning yung mga kaya mag-reproduce under gametes in and out of the population. So ito nangyayari in a large population to the this gene flow has a large population contribution to the evolution of the human population through the years. Humans today are capable of moving freely, di ba, across the globe, thus increasing the probability of random mating and spread of genes across the whole planet happens. So, ang gene flow, nangyayari lang yan every time na ang bagong organisms or yung mga migrating individuals, yung mga species na pumunta sa ibang lugar ay nag-breed. And then, variations will also take place. So, gene flow is the exchange of alleles between two or more populations. Okay? Kahit na magkakaiba yung kanilang species, pwede pa rin sila. Halimbawa, ito, color ng beetle. So, nangyayari ito, yung gene flow, pag nag-exchange sila ng genetic material. Okay? For this reason, it's sometimes referred to us as allele or allele flow or gene flow. Meaning, yung kanilang genes ay nag-move to another population. While migrating animals often carry new alleles, diba, yung mga nagmamigrate, may mga bagong species sila or mga bagong characteristics silang nadadala sa another population, they may interbreed. Pwede sila mag-breed with the new population for gene flow to occur. Para mag-occur yung genes nila or spread out yung genes nila, kailangan nilang mag-interbreed. So as you can see in this image, a beetle from a population of brown, nag-migrate siya into a population of green beetles. So once it migrates, mag-i-interbreed yan, and probably there's a chance na pwedeng magkaroon din siya ng offspring with its color. May pareho na silang color na brown. Hindi na lang yung green, yung isang population na napuntahan niya. So the gene flow may be a good thing for the new population. Okay? It can it can cause genetic diversity, meaning variations, maraming mga iba't ibang klase. Ayan. So, genetic diversity, remember, tends to help species survive. Because of their acquired characteristics, yung bago nilang mga characteristics na nakuha, or mas yung characteristics na yun ay nagbibigay sa kanila ng advantage to survive. So, this will lead to double its number. Ibig sabihin, mas dumami yung kanilang population. But of course, meron ding negative impact itong gene flow. Okay? It may carry harmful alleles into the new population. For example, ang alleles na yun or yung gene na yun is responsible for a specific disease. Pwede niya itong mapasa sa kanyang mga offspring or pwede niya itong mapasa sa magiging mate niya. Okay? So, if the two populations will constantly interbreed, have a high gene flow, then the two populations can be considered one. They may be separated by barriers which appear to make them separate populations, but they share same allele or genes frequencies that are essential to the same population. So we are done with genetic drift, gene flow. Now let's move on to natural selection. Remember, natural selection is a mechanism where organisms whose traits are well suited, okay, they are fitted to the environment and that tend to survive and produce more offsprings than the other organisms whose traits are not suited to the environment. This is the only mechanism which results in adaptation. Katulad ng famous example natin, yung mga mockingbirds na nakita ni Charles Darwin. So they have different types of or size of beaks or different size of their morphological structure. So depende sa kanilang characteristics, depende din kung makakasurvive sila sa environment na meron or available. So remember kids, natural selection is the only mechanism which results to adaptation since there is a selecting factor. Ano yung selecting factor? Of course, that's the environment. Okay? This determines the survivability, okay, and reproductivity of certain members or certain organisms of a population. And it's often the environment where the organism lives and mates. Alright, so remember, the outcome of natural selection is not random, okay? Since the outcome is determined by the environment, and the natural selection increases the reproductive and survivability advantage of a certain members of a population, which soon result to adaptation. I have here an example. As you can see in the illustration, these are a population of mice which move into a new area where the rocks are very dark. Halimbawa, galing ito sa uh, ibang area, then nag-move sila sa new environment. At ang napuntahan nila ay very dark yung rocks. Due to natural genetic variation, since meron halimbawa or sila ay color black color, yung kanilang mga skin or kanilang fur, yung kanilang balahibo ay color white or color black, these variations may be the selecting factor, okay? Or this may give them the advantage or disadvantage para makapag-reproduce at makapag-survive. So, tan mice are more visible to predatory birds than black mice. Siyempre, parang nagka-camouflage sila, correct? Thus, tan mice are eaten at higher frequency than black mice. Mas sila yung nakikita, kaya sila yung nakakain. Only the surviving mice reach reproductive age and leave offspring. So, since hindi masyadong visible itong mga black mice, they have the higher chance to survive that can lead to more offsprings than the tan mice, and they can transfer their characteristics or their traits to the new generation, at mas dadami yung kanilang generation, mas dadami yung kanilang traits na maipapasa sa mga possible offsprings. So going back the story of Darwin, 'di ba? As you can still remember, siya ay naglakbay. May voyage siya. During his voyage to the Vigil, HMS Vigil, Darwin observed many example of adaptations that is really recognizable to the environment, 'di ba? Yung adaptations na na-inherit, these are the traits, 'di ba? As you can see, as you can still remember, pag sinabi nating adaptation, ito yung traits na naman na nila ng organisms na yun that enhance their survival or survivability and reproductivity in a specific environment. So itong figure na to, this is a map showing yung red na yan na mga lines and may mga arrows. This indicates na kung saan naglakbay si Darwin. Okay? So, para siyang Dora the Explorer nung panahon niya. Kasi marami talaga siyang napuntahan. Alright? So, from studies made years after Darwin's yung voyage niya, biologists have concluded that this is indeed what happened to diverse group of Galapagos finches, kaya tawag nilang mockingbirds. Okay? So the finches various beaks, yung iba't ibang ang size ng beaks and various behaviors are adapted to their specific food available in their home inlands o yung kanilang environment. So, dito sa example natin, may mga tatlong example ng beak variation, pagkakaiba ng size ng mga beaks nila. May cactus eater, so probably yung kanyang beaks are long and sharp na para makuha niya yung cactus or mag-grab niya yung cactus. This help them tear and eat cactus flower and pulp. On the other hand, yung letter B naman, the insect eater. Ano naman ito? The green warbler finch uses its narrow pointed beak to grasp insect. Kaya mas pointed yung kanilang mga beaks at mas slim as compared sa cactus eater. While itong seed eater naman, the large ground finch has a large beak adapted to cracking seeds. Ayan, na napupulot nila sa ground. Alright? So, by seeing this type or this variation sa size ng beaks, it is indeed na yung kanilang characteristics or traits ang nag-a-adapt sa environment na meron sila. Alright, so depending on which traits in a population is favored, there are 3 modes. Remember kids, 3 modes of natural selection. Okay? Namely, there are directional, stabilizing, and disruptive selection. Okay? We're going to explore them one by one as we go on our discussion. Alright, so in directional selection, remember, one of the phenotypic extremes is being favored by natural selection. Ano tong phenotypic extremes? Ibig sabihin yung traits nila. Yung isang trait, halimbawa, is sa color ng kanilang mga balahibo or yung mga iba't ibang traits nila sa size ng mga beaks nila or yung kanilang mga wings, one of it ay favored by the environment. Okay, or by natural selection. This type of selection happens when an environment changes. Nagbago yung environment or when an organism migrates to a new environment. Okay, I have here an example. Ayan, so ito yung directional. Sabi nga, one phenotypic extremes are being favored. Okay, tingnan natin. This is the example. Prior to the Industrial Revolution in England, the peppered moth, yung butterfly na moth of course, ay may light coloration, meaning parang whitish yung color nila. They live on trees covered with light-colored lichen or lichen. Ito yung nakadikit sa mga trees na parang mga moss, parang mga maliliit na grasses. These lichen or lichen provide camouflage against predatory birds. Itong mga birds na kumakain ng moth ay yung trees ang nag-help doon sa mga moth para hindi sila makain kasi nagko-camouflage sila. So there were a few dark individuals in the population. Meron din daw dark. Kung makita natin dito sa figure, may dark population. However, since they are visible, they are usually eaten by birds. Due time, once the industrial evolution began, so the light-colored lichens covering the trees were killed. Namatay yung mga lichens na yon by sulfur dioxide emission from the new factories. Kasi nga maraming factories ang nai-build, so mas maraming mga greenhouse gases ang na-produced. Or one example is the sulfur dioxide na naging cause para mamatay itong lichens na nagko-cover sa trees. Without the light background on the trees or of the trees, the light moths were visible to birds and now the dark moths have a camouflage advantage. Ayan, nagbago yung environment nila. So in 1848, talagang nangyari ito. The dark moths comprised 1% of the population, but by 1959, they represented 90% of the population. Dumami talaga. Okay? So nagbago. Dahil nagbagong environment, nagbago din yung na-favored ng environment kung sino yung makakasurvive at makaka-reproduce. So ito yung illustration nun. Ayan. Remember, directional selection occurs when an environment pressures favors one phenotype or one traits or one genes more than the other. Makikita natin dito, 'di ba? Ayan. Ito yung white moth at saka black. So, noon, mas visible talaga yung black kasi white yung mga lichens. Nung namatay yun, nawala yun. Ang natira na lang ay ang colored ng trees na dark. So, mas na-favored naman yung mga black moth. Okay? Next is disruptive selection. Okay? This is another type of natural selection. Okay? So, ito naman, both extremes phenotypes are being favored. Pareho by natural selection. Organisms with intermediate phenotype tend to underperform and will soon become extinct. I have here an example on the next slide. Okay, ito yung example natin. A population of mice lives in a desert habitat with both sand and black volcanic rocks. Ayan, merong dalawang type ng environment or habitat. Merong sandy and merong volcanic rock. So, yung volcanic rocks usually mga dark yung mga colored ng rocks. The mice with black fur are able to hide from predators amongst the black rocks. Okay? And the mice with lighter fur are able to hide from predators in the sand. Kaya hindi sila nakakain. So, the mice with intermediate fur, however, stand out in all areas. Kahit saang environment man siya pumunta, kung doon man sa sand, habitat at saka sa volcanic rocks, visible sila in all areas. And thereby, suffer greater predation. Mas sila yung nakakain kasi sila yung visible. Natural selection would favor both light and dark mice but select against the intermediate color. And the last one is stabilizing selection. Ano naman ito? none of the phenotypic extremes are being favored. Ano yung pinapiboran ng stabilizing? Yung intermediate naman na variants. This reduces variation in a population and maintains the status quo in a population. For example, ito, human birth weight has undergone stabilizing selection. How? Ito yon. Babies of low weight lose heat more quickly and get ill from infectious disease more easily. Pag mga uh, maliliit yung mga babies, ibig sabihin mga malnourished. Whereas, babies of large body weight are more difficult to deliver through the pelvis. Pag pinapanganak sila, mahihirapan yung parents or yung mother. While infants of a more medium weight and have the greatest survival. So yung pinili dito sa stabilizing is yung intermediate. Yung both extremes are not favored. So I have here another example of the three types of natural selection. Let's explore them. Number one is directional. Remember, one extremes are being favored against the other. Example, ito, long wiggly tails look like a snake and that scare predators. Ayan, the longer the tail, the more it looks like a snake. Kaya hindi siya nakakain or hindi siya nakaharm kasi natatakot sa kanya. Okay? Stabilizing naman, remember, the moderate traits are being favored by the environment. Yung both extremes ang hindi. So short tails mess up the cat's balance, long tails drag on the ground, and medium tails are the best. And the last one, remember, disruptive selection. Both extremes are being favored by the environment, while the medium traits are not. Okay? Short tails help keep predators from catching you on the ground. Long tails are good for balance in the trees. And while medium tails don't help. So, siya yung nasiselect na, hindi siya favored environment. Alright, that's the end of my video lesson, I guess, or our lesson for today. So, if you have more concerns or questions or clarifications, please feel free to message me, okay? Or you may explore these links na meron dito to learn more about the different or the mechanisms for evolutionary change, okay? So, I hope you learned a lot from this video lesson, and yeah, good luck for your exam. Goodbye. Alright, anyways, I forgot. I have a short 10 items question here, and you need to answer. And I will be asking you to submit to me your answers. So, malalaman ko kung sino yung nag-view talaga ng aking video lesson once na merong naipasa sa akin. Okay? I guess the next day after mapanood nyo ito. So, wag yung sabihin sa mga hindi nanonood ng aking mga sinasubmit or yung itong aking instructional material for you guys. So, kung sino yung makapag-submit ng aking or makapagpanood nitong video lesson, I guess sila yung makapag-submit lang ng magbibigay sa akin ng mga scores nila for this. Okay? So, ipopost nyo lang itong aking video para masagutan ito. All you have to do is to identify kung anong type ng natural selection ba ang dinidiscussed or being discussed. Okay? Here's number one. The plants that are very tall are exposed to more wind and are at risk of being blown over. The plants that are very short fail to get enough sunlight to prosper. Therefore, the plants that are middle height between the two get both enough sunlight protection from the wind. That's number one. I-post nyo lang and then answer. Next, for number two, giraffes with the longest necks are able to reach more leaves to each. Selective pressures will work in the advantage of the longer necked giraffes, and therefore, the distribution of the trait within the population will shift towards the longer neck trait. Number three, an area that has black, white, and gray bunnies contains both black and white rocks. Both the traits for white and black will favored by the natural selection since they both useful for prove useful for camouflage. The intermediate trait of gray does not prove as a useful, and therefore selective pressures acts against the trait. Number four, in a population of mice that lives in the woods, natural selection will tend to favor individuals that best blend in with the forest floor and are less likely to be spotted by predators. Assuming the ground is a fairly consistent shade of brown, those mice whose fur is more closely matched to that color will most probably survive and reproduce, passing of their genes for their brown coat. Mice that carry alleles that make them slightly lighter or slightly darker will stand out against the ground and will probably die from predation. Number five, over time, the frequency of the melanic form of the moth increased because their darker coloration provide camouflage against the sooty tree. They have higher survival rate in habitats affected by air pollution. Similarly, the hypothetical mouse population may evolve to take on a different coloration if their forest floor habitats change. The result of this type of selection is a shift in the population's genetic variance towards the new phenotype. I can be able to read the because of my yeah. And next, the peppered moth have a lighter morph and darker melanic morph. Against lichen covered trees, lighter moths can blend in well, whereas melanic moths stand out, making them vulnerable to predation from insectivorous birds. Number six, when all birds too lay too many eggs, they may not be able to feed all the chicks sufficiently, leading to malnourished offspring. In addition, laying too many eggs can be a significant drain on the mother's resources, reducing the number of eggs she can lay in the future. On the other hand, laying too few eggs might result in no viable offspring. In this case, an intermediate value could be selected. Next, a population of polar bears is usually distributed against around average body weight. Individuals with larger body sizes tend to survive better in colder climates, while individuals in warmer climates are more likely to survive with smaller bodies. An increase in global temperatures might shift the optimum body mass to the left of the original optimum. And last, I believe, imagine a population of mice living at the beach where there is a light colored sand interspersed with patches of tall grass. In this scenario, light colored mice that blend in with the sand would be favored, as well as dark colored mice that can hide in the grass. Medium colored mice, on the other hand, would not be blend in with either the grass or the sand and thus more probably be eaten by predators. The result of this type of selection is increased genetic variance as the population becomes more diverse.